I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live the true meaning of its creed. We will hold these truths to be self evident that men are created equal. I have a dream that my four children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the contact of their characters. We will let freedom ring. We will be able to speed up the day when God's children, black men and white men, Jews, Gentiles, Pro- Protestants, and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last. This is an excerpt from my nominee's famous speech delivered August 28th, 1963, before 100,000 people on the march at the March on Washington. Access March 8th, 2020 at www.usconstitution.net. According to www.history.com, access April 14th, 2020, my nominee has helped many people by joining forces with civil rights groups and religious groups. The person I am nominating into the American Hall of Fame today is Martin Luther King Jr. The reason I am nominating Martin Luther King is because of his hard work and dedication to fight for equal rights for all of us. Today I will be discussing Martin Luther King's early life, his education, his political activism, and his untimely death. No matter how big the risk was, Martin Luther King fought long and hard for our rights and for there not to be any status level between different races. According to Claiborne Carson in his autobiography, Martin Luther King was born January 15th, 1929. He grew up with an older sister and a younger brother. According to www.thekingcenter.org, access March 8th, 2020, Martin Luther King graduated from his high school in his junior year and started at Morehouse College. He then went on to graduate with an associate's degree and then moved on to get his bachelor's degree at Crozer Theological Seminary. He then went on to be president of his senior class and valedictorian at the University of Pennsylvania. He lastly then got his PhD at Harvard University in 1955. According to www.informationplease.com, access April 14th, 2020, Martin Luther King organized a Southern Christian Leadership Conference that then spread nationwide. According to http://dreams.hsconstitution.net/dreams.html, accessed April 14th, 2020. The March on Washington was August 28th, 1963. The march started at the Washington Memorial and went on to and ended at the Lincoln Memorial, where the famous "I Had a Dream" speech was given. According to http://Nobel_prizes, access March 8th, 2020, Martin Luther King was the youngest recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize. After his death, he received an award for the Presidential Medal of Freedom by Jimmy Carter in 1977. Martin Luther King Day was established in 1986, and in 2004 he received the Congressional Gold Medal. According to http://news.bmc.co.uk, access March 8th, 2020, Martin Luther King was shot and killed at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee on April 4th, 1968. His death led to riots in more than 100 cities. James Earl Ray was convicted of the murder of Martin Luther King Jr. and was sentenced to 99 years in prison, where he has already died. Today I have discussed Martin Luther King's early life, his education, his political activism, and his untimely death. Because of the peacemaker he was for the world, because of the nonviolent and equal treatment amongst the races that he promoted, and because of the life he lived that he would preach to others, I urge you to put Martin Luther King into the American Hall of Fame.